So doing away with masks.
Yes, we are doing away with masks. So I thought we would talk about this topic. But, we probably need to see what are all the different association of masks. So I'm a little bit tired today, so I'm going to get everybody to talk with me.
Okay. No worries. For those of you who don't know, Jerry is recovering. Yeah.
Yes,
She's recovering.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We can do the talking.
Yes.
Okay,
so the association of masks. So there's this. When I was doing this topic, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm writing a thesis. Because I was researching, right? So there's the association with the art. So you have all the masks, and the kabuki theater and all the different like Mardi Gras and everything, right? So the arts.
What about the Chinese 变脸?
Yes, the 变脸. That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah. So that's also art. That's also falling into like culture, and some of the cultures they do cover up with a veil, and then there's the religion one, and then I was researching. I was like, it's been a long time since I read this phrase, Ku Klux Klan. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, KKK,
and they are all covered up, right? So, the association of masks can be good and can be bad.
Yeah, like killers.
Yeah. Robbers as well. Robbers, yeah.
The Scream guy, the guy that Ghostface.
Oh, yeah.
Jason.
I mean, so many,
Freddy
even
Krueger.
Batman wore a mask.
Michael,
Batman wore a mask as well. So there's Spider-Man, all the
Superheroes,
superheroes. Yeah. To cover the identity.
Yeah.
NEA workers also.
all of us in the past 2 years.
Yes.
Well, so all of us in the past 2 years was for health, right? Or to keep us safe, for safety. So masking has the other concept of protecting a personality or protecting the self. So the idea of mask as a concept. So we were talking about the literal mask, but today we're talking about mask as a concept. And masking is actually a real thing. So many of us do that. That's why there's so much talk about being genuine, being authentic. Yeah, so masking is actually trying to conform. That means you cover your real person or personality and trying to conform to maybe society or to the environment. And we see that very often in children or adults who have gone through maybe like bullying or abuse at home, or let's say a work environment that you cannot show your true personality because it's not permitted for one reason or another.
Right. So many of us use a mask to hide behind, don't we?
We do. So I think at one point, maybe about like 10 years ago, there were a lot of articles about, people using makeup as a mask, where you put like heavy makeup or you hide behind this very made up persona.
Okay. Right.
How prevalent is, I ask this question because I'm a father, how prevalent is hiding behind a mask with teenagers in Singapore?
Oh, this was something that I think over the years, the teens are more and more aware, but many teens, they hide behind this invisible mask. I call it an invisible mask. And why I say that is because they come back home and they appear to act out because they are irritable, they are angsty, but they come in and they are very depressed, or they say they're extremely exhausted at the end of the day. So I would always ask them, what kind of mask do they put on in the day? Because they have all these expectations that they perceive, maybe it's their perception, right? But maybe it's really put onto them that they have to be the perfect students, they have to appear a certain way to their friends, or some of them are really high achievers, so they are in position of power, right? So they have to have a certain persona and carry that with them throughout the day, which is very tiring.
And people in the office do the same as well, right? They don't reveal their true selves at the office, and sometimes they don't want to hang around with colleagues because for fear of revealing who they really are as well, right?
Yeah.
Are you trying to say something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Angel was looking at Shaun. What? Shaun?
I will reveal
not it on,
everything.
yeah.
Because you can be working with someone for years, but you don't really know who they are.
Their true
Yeah.
selves,
True.
yes.
Right?
No.
Yeah, and
Okay.
people don't want to reveal it because they become vulnerable when you know who they are as well.
Correct. Jerry, hold on. Okay, we're going to go for a traffic break and then come back.
We can
I think we
recap
can.
that. Yeah.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today and every Tuesday is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. Good morning once again, Jerry.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Jerry. Today we're talking about unmasking. I mean, there was a recent announcement on Sunday where we were told we will soon be able to unmask literally in a lot of situations. But today we're talking about the metaphorical mask, the one that hides the personality. And on the Big Show TV, we're talking about FD asked a question about teenagers and how often they have a mask on. And I went on to the question about people at work as well having masks on.
Yes. Yep. And why do we put on that mask? Have we ever asked ourselves, what is it that we are actually hiding? So most of the time it's a lot of negative emotions. So that we look at this mask that we are putting on. It's a very neutral expression unless we have all the arts or we have the Mardi Gras, which is very colorful. Most of the time, the mask that we want to put on is a very neutral looking mask so that people cannot look beyond that and guess what is going underneath. And what is going on underneath usually would be the negative emotions. Emotions like disgust, emotions like resentment, emotions like fear. So we don't want people to actually see that, discomfort. So we hide behind this mask.
But
So
don't you think?
the
Don't you think it's
one.
part of being professional, Jerry? So if a colleague of mine is neutral at work, I would appreciate that. Rather than, the person bringing his troubles or whatever else to work, angst to work and all that. That would be unprofessional. Don't you think? I mean, in your opinion?
If we think about it, right, what is wrong about talking about it as long as it doesn't affect the work? That means if you bring it to work and it affects your functioning, then you're being unprofessional, right? But if you are having a dialogue about it and, it's a dialogue. It's a conversation, but it doesn't affect the outcome and the productivity of your work. And you're still as constructive or as productive in your work. Why would it matter at all?
I like when I first started, I feel I had a mask on because I didn't want people to know. I didn't want to get close to anyone for fear of, because when you get close to people at work, you reveal your personality and some of it may not be necessarily, like what Glenn says, professional, right?
Yeah.
But also you don't want to reveal your vulnerability and in the end, your trigger points as well. Because then people will know all your weaknesses as well and they can use that against you.
You see,
especially with professional
But you
settings.
see, I don't know whether that is the correct thought process, Jerry, because we all see people as, if they know their weakness, they're going to use it against me. What makes you think that if someone knows your weakness, they're not going to help you?
Yeah, most people
Yeah.
aren't that nice though.
Nobody trusts
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
You gotta
Because I see it as I am generalizing, I know, and it's a bad thing to do, but I see people with this bravado sometimes, and I just go completely insecure.
yeah.
I do. I see that bravado, and my first thought is, you're damn insecure.
Yeah. And that's what
That is another mask.
that's
isn't
what
it?
we were talking about last week with narcissism as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
how people
You
hide
can
it.
actually
So the
tell
mask-
whether it's genuine or not. You know what I mean?
You think so?
Yeah.
I find it very
No,
hard. find it very hard.
I get what Angel is saying. So, for example, I mean, she comes on this show and she gets to know us all a little
Yeah.
bit better, and then you can kind of reveal a
Relax.
little bit more
Yeah,
about
yeah,
yourself.
slowly. Yeah.
Same for all of us, right?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we first
Yeah.
got to know each other.
Yeah.
But then again, we have colleagues whom we're not really close to, and so
And
you
they
know,
would have a mask on in front of us and vice versa.
probably.
Right? Because
Yeah.
we wouldn't show
No.
our entire personalities to people we barely know, right?
Yeah.
So that is masking behavior. So the behavior of masking is to ensure our survival and, to help us along in the environment. But sometimes masking can be very destructive. So we're looking at that destructive nature of masking. So the masking behavior that all of us have is a natural protection for all of us. We go into a space, we need to be a little bit more cautious. That cautiousness, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
But then when it becomes masking as a destructive sort of a concept, then we put ourselves at risk because one, FD is absolutely right. We don't get the help that we need. We protect ourselves. We isolate ourselves. There's this masking tends to isolate people, so you don't get accesses to resources as fast and as much as you need to.
Yeah. If there's a mask I would like to wear, it would be the mask of Zorro.
I knew that one was coming.
And then I'm riding off with Camila Cabello.
Oh, hola.
Yes, Havana on 1FM 91.3.
Okay. Jerry, on our Facebook page, Damien has said something. I'd like your reaction to it. He says, personally, I always put up a mask. It's easier than trying to explain my feelings or emotions. Isn't that dangerous, though?
Yes. So masking of emotions is another area that we want to encourage people not to do it, because then sometimes you put on the mask so much that you forget yourself, you forget who you really are. And that's what some of the clients come in with, because they have forgotten who they are, they have forgotten how to act also, and they've forgotten how they actually feel in certain situations, because this mask becomes such a habit for them.
Is it almost a crutch?
So it becomes that defense mechanism. It becomes the default persona that they put on. So they get lost in that personality, or they get lost with the mask.
What about masks in relationships?
That's dangerous, right?
That's dangerous.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people wear them, right?
Correct. But it's so isolating, and many times if you say you have to put on a mask with your partner, then what it does is that relationship becomes very empty. It becomes very, there's no more purpose in that relationship. What is a relationship? A relationship is to lean in on each other. But if you put something in between, anything in between, you basically draw that boundary between each other.
Yeah, it's unsustainable if let's say one of the parties
Partners,
leaves that mask on.
Yeah,
right?
but
At some point,
But perhaps the mask
she'll have
is
to take off the
on-
makeup.
Oh, perhaps he or she
Okay, I'm kidding.
is doing it because the other person just doesn't get it, and that's the only thing the other person wants to see is that particular persona of the person with the mask on.
But you'll be able
You
to
know
tell,
what I mean?
right, whether it's genuine or
I
not.
don't know. I
You
don't
can break
know.
up already.
Because
You
at the
know?
end of the
Those
day, you're
not
not
sure.
in love with that person. You're in love with the mask.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's not the person.
And the so who's to blame though? I mean, is it the person wearing the mask or the person who wants to see that person only in that mask?
And then I wonder why the need for the codependency. That's what we call a codependency, right?
It's just
the
sex.
person that-
Benefits, right?
And I'm
Okay.
just saying, for some couples.
Some
why
people,
would
when
we
they have
need
sex, they wear masks.
Yeah, that's true, and other things.
Are we on radio?
Sorry, Dr. Jerry.
No, on Facebook.
No,
obviously
we're on
not.
Facebook.
Obviously not.
Yeah.
Oh, dear me. How did the conversation veer to that direction,
Sean.
right?
Yes, I
Don't
Sean.
blame
God
me.
was the one.
Yeah,
I'm going on leave.
Yeah.
He started it.
He had the last word there.
I mean, whatever you're doing, mate, it doesn't really matter. You know, don't say anything.
We'll talk about
But we're
masking.
talking about day to day, day to day. If you have to wear the mask all the time, then that's very, very tiring. It's exhausting, right?
Yeah, Sean.
Dr. Jerry, do people who like wear
Yeah.
masks all the time, like, as you mentioned, and they have this like persona, do they become the mask eventually, or is it something that they struggle with all their life?
So they have that secondary persona, right? But it's never the actual persona. So you catch glimpses of it coming out when they're extremely exhausted. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
so the-
secondary one is the one that they hide behind, not the primary.
No, the primary one, they might be afraid of it, you see. And we often ask, what is it hiding? So even the mask of arrogance. So if we look at last week's topic of NPD, what is that mask hiding? Because sometimes when we poke it enough, we see that they are hiding like pain, even pain of something. Maybe of a trauma, maybe of an abuse, maybe of we don't know what they are hiding. So we want to find out.
Do people with depression wear masks?
Sometimes they're too tired to wear, so that's when they're flat out. But yes, we talk about the smiling depression, right? Where they put on that facade and then they carry on with their day, they can function. But inside is just, in pieces, they're bleeding. So yes, there can be masks that they wear, yeah.
But can a mask ever be a coping mechanism?
Or something good? Right?
Especially with someone who has depression, that mask is a way for them to cope with it.
To cope with the depression, I mean, if they have to put it on, imagine a mask, right? You have to put it on. Anything that you have to carry for a long period of time wears you out. So yes, for a short period of time, that's perfectly fine. But, anything that is prolonged for a sustained period of time, then is very, it's not something that we can carry all the time. Even you and I, if we wear the actual mask and we wear it all day long, it's going to take a toll on us.
So would the saying "putting on a brave face" be also wearing a mask?
We learn how to cope by, gathering up all our courage and we face the situation. But when you have to face a situation day in, day out, then we wonder, what is this need to face this situation day in, day out? Is there something wrong with you or something wrong with the situation, right?
Okay,
One
Jerry,
second.
hold on. We'll go on air. Good morning, Singapore. Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is award-winning psychologist Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. And we're talking about masks. All right. And I'm thinking, how about that movie which stars Jim Carrey?
The mask.
The
The
Mask.
mask.
Right?
The mask,
Yeah.
yes.
He was a whole different character when he had that on.
Completely
Yeah.
different character.
Yeah. So it's hiding behind a different personality, right? So that one was quite interesting because literally you see him hide behind a totally different personality, and he thinks only with that mask he can do certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I had a young teen, and he told me, so he doesn't have split personality. Okay, he doesn't have DID, but he told me I've got 3 personalities. Then I realized, oh, he hides behind 2 of them. So one is the fierce person who he calls the villain, and then the other energetic one, which is like the baby, and he hides behind these 2 personalities, which was quite interesting. I don't think he has DID at all.
Can masks be a necessity? I ask this because I've always believed I am 3 different people.
Wait, hold on. You are 3 different people.
Yeah,
You.
There's
There's
I'm 3 different
there's
persons.
flying, and there's Dutchman.
Yeah, I'm 3 different people. I'm a certain type of. I'm 3 different types of people.
Okay.
I'm a certain type of person on radio. I'm a
Okay.
certain type of person as a husband, and I'm a certain type of person as a father.
Are those just
Are
roles,
those
though?
masks or are those roles
Roles.
that I play?
I was gonna say, so if you look at the different tasks that you have to do and the activities that you have to do, then you realize that all your functions in the different roles that you've just mentioned is different. So you cannot present the same set of skills in each role. So that's probably why. Not that you're a different person. So there is this consistent personality trait that we will see FD present, but he has different functions in different roles. Now that's different from wearing the mask. Yeah, wearing the mask is covering up that personality that you have and not being congruent with yourself or the people outside.
Can a mask ever be necessary in order for you to function?
Yeah, like, can it ever be good?
Can it be good?
So, for the autistic children or for the autistic adult, yeah, that mask that we see sometimes is for survival, that they would put on because the world is really, really chaotic. They just don't know how to deal. So, and they don't know how to read all our nuances, right? So many times the autism spectrum disorder has a mask, or we look at them and they are wearing a mask.
Oh.
Yeah, interestingly, I mean, when the announcement was made during the National Day rally on Sunday, when PM Lee said we can all unmask very soon in most situations, he also made reference to kids in school and how they need to learn to read facial expressions and all that. How important is that?
So the speech therapist will be like jumping with joy because now, when the kids, when the teachers are teaching, when the therapists are teaching, they can literally see the face. And then when we teach like social awareness, we teach like social skills, these are all very, very important because there's so much we can talk with our eyes and with our hands, right? We talk a lot with the 2/3 of our face also.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, is it going to be very uncomfortable for people to reveal their faces now, especially our educators? I mean, they're so used to having the masks on,
Everyone, really.
right? So maybe when they take their masks off, they might look a little awkward.
Spend some money on makeup.
Yeah. Well, a lot of women stopped wearing makeup
actually-
during the
Yeah,
pandemic. They stopped. The need
Yeah,
for wearing
yeah.
makeup.
Sales will go through
Yeah,
the
I
roof.
know.
I know. I'm gonna buy lipstick soon. Yay!
Yay! It's so much fun.
But anyways, yes. So quite a number of teens. We many of us say yay, when we heard the news. But many of the teens and some of the introverts, they actually go, "Oh no, I don't want. I want to just continue to wear my mask." And I was asking them why, and they go, "But my face is so imperfect." I go,
Oh,
"Huh?"
no.
Yeah, so they are at the awkward stage, right? Some of them wearing braces, they have breakouts, they're in that awkward transition phase where they're still developing. So they still don't know how to appreciate their looks also. So they say, oh, but it covers up my pimples, or my nose is too big, or my mouth is so ugly, Go like, okay. So some of them are really caught up with the, I don't want to show the world my face. So absolutely, we hear that.
That's
so
understandable, though.
They can continue to wear their masks.
Yeah, exactly.
If
we
they
all
like.
went through that stage in life where we were like, oh, I wish we had a mask at that point in life where we could wear it.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Huey Lewis and the news. Stuck with you on
Glenn's statement. Jerry was talking about people going, oh, my nose is too big. My I've got breakouts. I've got this. I've got that, for teenagers who are at that odd time. And Glenn said they can just go on and keep wearing their masks. Isn't that dangerous, though? Don't they need to face where they are?
So the last week we were talking about mask fishing, right? So where they hide behind the mask and my eyes, from this part onwards I look good, and I look better with the mask, and many of them have taken to mask fishing because they hide behind that mask. But one day they they have to take off that mask, and then what? How are they going to face the world at that particular point in time? So we were talking about that awkwardness, right? Glenn was saying, when they feel when they look awkward, yes, they don't know how to I don't know. It's not open or close their mouth, but what expression to showcase, right? So all of them will suddenly have a disorder or other because they keep the expression very flat. What we call a flat affect, right? But actually they don't have a flat affect. They just been hiding behind the mask so long that they just don't know what expression to give.
I think a lot of people are going to be opting to leave the masks on as well, especially those that have gotten so used to not having to express through their facial expression. It's just easier to kind of like mumble under your breath at somebody you don't like or something like that.
But I think back to the schools, right? I think it's going to be made compulsory for teachers to unmask.
Oh, since, for teachers,
since the PM, has already said it.
Yes.
Right? So I'm sure a directive will get to all the teachers to go, none of you are to have your mask.
I think it should be compulsory for students too.
Yeah, for sure. Unless you're not feeling well.
It's a two-way street.
Thing, yeah.
You need to both parties need to be able to read the emotions in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Unless they wear like a face shield.
Yeah.
The shield then I think is, if you want to protect yourself, then that's an option, right? Because you can see your face.
I don't envy the teachers though, because now, these naughty students will go like, hey, I think you look better with the mask on.
I'm sure. No, I'm sure. They will do that. They will do that. And there'll be a lot of bullying as well, with kids. They'll be like, oh, you better put your mask back on and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I can just see it happening.
I mean, these things.
Yeah, I must tell you a joke. I don't know whether I told it before, but there was this 8-year-old boy, and he only saw me during COVID period. Yeah, so he only saw me with the mask on. So one day he was very excited, and I think he thought for a long time, and he asked, Auntie Jerry, can you take off your mask for 1 minute? Okay. And I was like, okay, sure. And then I think he must have fantasized what Auntie Jerry looks like behind the mask.
I think so.
So when I took it out, he stared at me for a long time and went, I think you look better with the mask on.
Oh,
he was too used to seeing your face. I think it was probably not the face he expected. Not that you look bad. It was just like he envisioned something else.
Maybe he was intimidated.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he was thinking like a mustache and a beard.
I didn't intimidate him. But it was so funny because at that point, I kept laughing because to me, I knew because he was trying to piece things.
Yeah.
You literally could see this little boy trying to piece and match things in his head. And then he couldn't reconcile, and he said, I think you look better with your mask.
Kids say the darndest things.
That's true.
I know. It was so funny. I mean, that was quite a hilarious moment for me. Yeah.
Okay, Jerry. Last words, Jerry.
Oh, wow, so fast.
Last words on
Yeah.
air or Facebook?
Oh wait, is it time?
Not yet.
Oh
Not
no,
quite,
no.
not
Oh, sorry.
quite.
My watch says 8:40.
Yeah, your
Don't
watch is
follow your
always.
watch.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
Follow my cards.
Man.
Sorry about that. Okay, FD has got another question.
How can we help people when we know there's a mask on?
As in the conceptual mask, is it?
How do we?
Yeah. I guess the easiest question is to ask what's behind that mask, what's hurting, what is painful for you, what is scary for you. So what is painful, what is scary for you?
And why they're
Yeah, so-
hiding? Is that why they find the need to hide?
So we never used the question why in psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it's like an interrogation. So the question why usually is not a main feature in our sessions. So
okay.
it's what, how come,
Okay.
how much, yeah.
What? So you can say what, you can say how.
Yeah. So all the other
W's.
questions is how, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I had
A
no
little
idea.
trivia there, yes. Because
Okay.
why is very interrogatory. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? So we tend to shy away from the why question.
Right.
Now we
like
learned
that,
something
yeah.
new. Yeah,
That's interesting.
cool. Yeah.
That is something that parents can pick up on, I think, when they deal with their children. Stay away from the why and try
Why
and
are you
find
so
out the
like
what.
that?
Why are you so
Try and figure out what. Try and figure out
what's
the
going
what
on? Yeah,
as
what's
opposed to
going
the
on?
why.
or the how much?
Who bullied you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or who, yes, who,
Or how
when,
can we
or
help?
how. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So all the other questions are great. So the what makes you scared, or what makes you, or what causes so much pain for you would be good question to just try and you can draw them out from behind the mask.
So instead of saying why are you feeling like that, you can say what do you
What's
think
making
is
you
making
feel
you
this way?
feel this way?
Yeah, what makes you feel this way?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
I like that.
That's cool.
Dr. Jerry, is the fake it till you make it kind of thing also like considered like having a mask?
It depends. So I had that conversation with a few clients, and sometimes it is a mask, sometimes it is a try and try again. So it depends on whether we are persevering in a certain behavior, or we are hiding behind that persona and
The
trying to
motivation
act out.
behind it, is it?
Yeah, the intention lah. Yeah, the intention.
The intention behind it is important.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's
can
let's
sign
get
off.
ready for Julian,
as
because
well.
for the past few weeks I
Yes.
think he's been having like
Yes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
So-
sign off in a
Thank you very much, Jerry. Any last words?
Of course. So it's from Ramdas, and he says, each time we drop our mask and meet heart to heart, we awaken from our sense of separateness, which is what we are called to do in all things.
nice.
Wow.
Ramdas.
Yes.
Deep, know that one.
Yes. So what
Take a
what
moment.
what it means is when we drop our mask, and connect with the other person, then
Okay.
we stop being isolated from the other person.
All right, hold on, Jerry. We'll say bye to you on air. Here.
Okay.
Lady A need you now right here on The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We're just about to say goodbye to Jerry. Jerry, that quote was very interesting. Could you repeat
Yes.
it, please?
Sure. Each time we drop our masks and meet heart to heart, we awaken from our sense of separateness, which is what we are called to do in all things. And it's by Ramdas.
I love that.
Wow.
I love that.
Drop your mask.
I
the mask.
understand it more the second time round.
Take it off.
Take
Take it all off. All right. Thanks,
Take it off.
Dr. Jerry.
See all of you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
You rest well.
Bye.
Bye bye.
That was Dr.